Well, Bill Steffen here. I hope you're having yourself a good weekend. The last 8 days have all been cooler than average, and that 8 day stretch has been 8 degrees cooler than average. So it's certainly been on the chilly side here for the latter part of May. We've escaped so far without any general frost. There's been a little isolated frost in some areas off to the north of Kent County in some of the low spots that are more apt to get that on a calm, clear night in May, but most areas have not seen that, and most areas are not going to be seeing any significant frost. All right, let's take a look at the severe weather threat. Boy, that same area is getting pounded once again. Oklahoma, Texas, Arkansas, into northern Mississippi and northern Alabama. There's an enhanced outlook that's a level 3 for parts of North Texas and Oklahoma. And if you look down on the bottom right side, you can see some of the cities that are affected by that risk. You've got Oklahoma City, Norman, a lot of people live there, Wichita Falls, Lawton, Oklahoma. When my father was in the Army Air Corps, they flew in quite a bit to Frederick Army Airfield, which was out near Lawton. And you can see the slight risk or level 2 risk for Memphis, Tulsa, Birmingham, Lubbock, and Little Rock. So that's where it's going to be a kind of a wild couple of days coming up here. That's for Sunday. Now, if we can look at the next map for Monday, you'll be able to see that we've got generally the same area from Texas and Oklahoma east all the way to the Atlantic Ocean. And in that slight risk area there, that area in Texas, they're not only going to be seeing a possibility of severe weather there, but also some very heavy rains. Let's take a look at the rainfall amounts that are expected here over the next 3 days. This is over 66 hours. And look at that absolutely huge area that's over 1.5 inches. That's the yellow area, and that starts up in the Black Hills of South Dakota and comes down through eastern Colorado and that large area. The entire state of Arkansas is going to be seeing over 1.5 inches of rain. The red areas are all the way up to around 4 inches of rain. So, boy, not the best Memorial Day weekend if you're down there, but look up toward the Great Lakes, not much going on here. We'll zoom in here to Michigan and show you that we've got a little bit of light green in a couple spots over by Saginaw Bay. There could be a pop-up shower there along the lake breeze. There's going to be an easterly lake breeze off Lake Huron that could pop a shower, but nothing for us here in West Michigan. There could be a couple of showers Tuesday afternoon down toward Chicago, but that should not reach us here until Tuesday night. I'm hopeful at this point that we can get in the Tuesday evening. It's not a sure thing yet, so don't quote me, but we could get in the golf leagues and the softball leagues Tuesday evening before the rain moves in later Tuesday night. So we're going to take a little time out right now and thank our sponsors. This from Complete Care Concierge.
Need a fast, efficient, and affordable cleaning service? Complete Care Concierge has you covered. Serving all of West Michigan, we offer one-time, daily, weekly, and bi-weekly cleans, plus move in, move out. We also service apartment hallways and laundry rooms. Our work is guaranteed, gift cards are available, and we even clean on weekends. There's no better way to say I love you than giving a tired mom a break from dishes and laundry. Are you a busy professional? Pamper yourself by taking vacuuming and dusting off your plate. Office manager, keep your business looking and feeling its very best. Call 616-264-1397 today for a spotless space and total peace of mind.
When your home needs help, you might not know where to start. Why not ask Ace? We're always here to help with Ace Handyman Services. Our talented craftsmen handle everything from drywall and carpentry to doors and kitchens. We're the neighbors you trust to get the job done right. Let's get started. Book your handyman appointment today. Ace Handyman Services, bringing helpful to your home.
Ace is the place with the helpful hardware, folks.
Unseasonably cool weather. By the way, that's a pretty picture, isn't it? That was the Muskegon Channel here Saturday evening. A boat on its way back as the sun sets there. Lake was pretty calm here during the day on Saturday, and there were quite a few boats out, even early in the morning. You'd be surprised at sunrise, which is about 6:15 in the morning right now, how many boats. I think there were 5 or 6 boats already out in the Muskegon Channel there. Average high temperature for this date, May 25th, is 73. High temperature Saturday included 64 in Grand Rapids, 53 at the South Haven Lighthouse, where the high temperature occurred at 8 p.m. As the wind died off and there was a little bit of a land breeze, the temperature actually went up a few degrees between 7 and 8 o'clock. And look at the Muskegon Pier. The highest temperature they had was 50, and that occurred at 8 o'clock in the morning. After that, the wind picked up off the 46-degree water, and the temperature pretty much held between 46 and 49 the entire rest of the day. So pretty interesting, those high temperatures coming at rather odd hours, but pretty scene out there at Lake Michigan. Well, let's take a look now at what's ahead here for us. First of all, the Lake Michigan forecast, and I thought I'd show you this slide again from John Scully. This is a kite surfer out on Lake Michigan, and that was Thursday, and look at how much air he's got underneath him. Wow. I think that's cool. He's halfway up the lighthouse, and really having fun out there, that's for sure. Winds later on today, north to northwest, 5 to 10 knots, probably closer to the 10 knots. A knot, by the way, is a nautical mile per hour, and it's about 1.15 knots, or 1.15 miles per hour equals 1 knot. So you can compute back and forth there. Waves 6 inches to a foot, probably closer to a foot during the afternoon, especially if you're a little away from shore, but pretty good day out there. High temperature just 53, so if you're going to be by the lake, probably want a jacket with you to keep you warm. And thanks to John for that picture once again. Okay, headlines for everybody. Dry weather expected through Tuesday morning, and maybe if we're lucky through Tuesday afternoon. There will be some rain here Tuesday night and during the day on Wednesday. And then into Wednesday night, more than likely, a chance of a shower Thursday as well, but not an all-day rain. It will be a little bit warmer, and I emphasize little bit. It won't be much. And then no severe weather around here. We got a nice break from that here this week, and that's nice for the holiday season. Taking a look at the Whitecaps forecast here. The Whitecaps have had some interesting time changes due to a couple of rainouts that they had this week, and they have a Sunday evening game here. It's Military Appreciation Night. The reason they have a Sunday evening game is because of the holiday here on Monday. So people don't mind being out here Sunday night. Cool and dry. I think skies will be partly cloudy. At game time, the temperature will probably be about 63s, and the wind should be fairly light. So probably take a jacket along with you here, and you should be all set if you're heading out to the Military Appreciation Night at the Whitecaps. I'll look at some of the low temperatures that we had here early in the day on Saturday, and temperatures will be pretty similar here early this morning. There is a frost advisory out for early Sunday morning from Mason, Lake, Osceola, and Clare counties to the north. That includes Ludington, Manistee, Houghton Lake, Traverse City, Cadillac, and Gaylord, and Mayo. And you can see that's for part of the UP as well. And those are some of the low temperatures from early Sunday morning. Now, temperatures are taken at the 5-foot level. And the reason for that is because that's where your eyes are, about 5 feet off the ground. But the temperature right at the ground can sometimes be colder than the temperature at the 5-foot level. And it's been looked at, and they found the difference can be up to 3 to 5 degrees. So it can be 35 at the 5-foot level, and down on the ground it can be 31, and you're getting frost. So you can see where temperatures were Saturday morning. Temperatures should be pretty similar Sunday morning, but no general frost expected. They did not issue the frost advisory even for Newaygo County. But 33 in Ludington, and you can see temperatures were in the 30s in most areas, but warmer at the lake. In fact, at the Muskegon Pier, over a 24-hour period, the temperature only changed by 6 degrees from 44 to 50, and that was about it. So interesting to take a look at how the changes occur there. All right, look at the forecast here for today. I think will be a touch warmer than yesterday. 64 Grand Rapids yesterday will be 66 or 67 today. It'll start out clear. We'll see those cumulus clouds develop, and it'll become scattered to broken, which is scattered clouds to about 2/3 cloud cover there. Nighttime hour is mostly clear. We got a thin crescent moon during the early morning right now, and a pretty good warm-up. Early morning 39 or 40. We should bounce up to 66 in the afternoon. It will be cooler near Lake Michigan. Humidity drops to 45% in the afternoon. Winds northwest to north, and most of the day it should be around 5 to 10 miles an hour, probably closer to 10 during the afternoon. But a persistent northwest flow bringing us a cool flow of air out of Canada. I'll look at high temperatures here over the next couple of days. this is for later on today. We're looking for mid 60s in inland areas. You can see 64 Kalamazoo, 65 Three Rivers, but only 54 for South Haven, and that's the city temperature there. So if you're going to be by the water, it will be cooler. Out over the water, you can see west of Ludington there, the temperature only reaches 47 degrees. So the lake can make a big difference there. And up top of my head here, you can see the temperatures for upper Michigan. Should be a nice day up there with mostly sunny skies. Temperatures, even by the water, should be up to 50 degrees there, as you can see around Grand Marais. And Munising gets up to 55. Okay, and then the forecast here for Monday calls for temperatures to be up close to 70. It won't be that warm in the early mornings. So if you're going to a parade here early Monday morning, you probably want to take a jacket along with you. It's not going to be the best weekend for playing in the lake for hours on end, which is sometimes what we've been able to do on Memorial Day. But the water's pretty chilly. Water temperature at Reed's Lake was 59, and that was 10 degrees cooler than it was 8 days before we had this cool snap. We had a temperature up to 69 here a week ago Friday, and this Friday and today, the temperature was only 59 degrees, so a little chilly there. But it's okay if you got a kayak like I do. I don't know if I get out the next couple of days or not. Let's take a look right now at the forecast out to 5 days. Got a nice flag up there for you for Memorial Day Monday. 66 today and partly cloudy, partly to mostly sunny, and 70 on Monday. A dry day Tuesday, though clouds will be increasing during the afternoon. It should become fairly overcast. Rain showers may start Tuesday evening or Tuesday night and continue into Wednesday. Not terribly cold, but you'll probably want to grab an umbrella here for the day on Wednesday. And a chance of a shower here during the day on Thursday as well. Average high temperature at 73, so we're just a little bit underneath that here over the next 5 days or so. And the long range outlook here, 8 to 14 days, covers the first week of June, June 1st through the 7th. And we continue to see that below average down through the southern United States, and that's because of all the clouds and the rain they're getting down there. It's just not getting that warm during the daytime. But some of the warm air that's been out in the Rockies is going to spill over and come over the top of the cool air. And we'll see our temperatures during, in fact, I would not be surprised if we had a couple of days up around 80 during the first week of June. So it's, and it stays warm in Florida. They've had a lot of low to mid 90s down there in southern part of Florida. The cool air has never really made it down there, though they should get some pleasant rain, and they could certainly use that. Above average rainfall for Florida, and above average rainfall for Arizona, New Mexico, and Texas. Those are areas that are often too dry this time of year, so they're happy to see that. Near normal up here in the Great Lakes area, but I don't think we see any all-day rains coming. I think all in all, a pretty good forecast. And by the way, if you look in the lower left there, you got a green Alaska looking at you. Alaska has certainly been on the cool and wet side, and that trend will continue. At the Barrow Airport, which is the northernmost airport in the United States, the high temperature there yesterday was just 29. And I don't know that they've been above freezing all week. So nothing's melting up there. And it is certainly, sometimes I think about 2/3, 3/4 of the time, if it's warmer than average in the southeastern U.S., it's cooler than average up in Alaska. They kind of go in different directions there. So that's interesting. All right, Michelle working at the airport tonight, but she's passed along some interesting information for us. Highest temperature ever on the state, 91 in 1977. And that is so interesting because in the year 1976 to 77, we had the coldest winter that we had during the 20th century. It tied, I think, 1903, 1904. And then we had the hottest week of the entire year in the last week of May. And we had all these days with temperatures around 90, a big heat bubble build up, quite a contrast to what happened over the winter. Lowest temperature ever, 31 degrees. That was back in 1992, which was the year a big hurricane hit, Hurricane Andrew, south of Miami, Florida. Average high temperature, 72.1. That goes up to 73. And then the average low temperature at 50.4. So interesting information there as we slide through the month of May. And by the way, 7 months until Christmas Day. Interesting. Okay, many events in West Michigan. Memorial Day events coming up here. Just look at some of the parades that we have here. Just pick out a parade. The weather should be great, fantastic. And The two big parades on the left there, the Grand Rapids Memorial Day Parade at 10 a.m. and the Walker Memorial Day Parade at noon. And the Walker Parade has always been great. I've been in that parade before since I am not affiliated with a TV station in my retirement here. I'm not going to be in with Channel 8, but I will be on the sidelines cheering everybody on. And want to salute the police and fire in Walker. They do a really nice job. I think last year I have a Walker police T-shirt, which I'm going to have to see if I can grab and wear to the parade here. We're not doing a Memorial Day celebration this year in Alpine Township, but they are planning one for next year. So I'll probably be going to the one in Walker. And you can see the parades there in Jenison, Zeeland, Holland, the parade there at 9:30. Cascade Township, that's usually a pretty big parade, 10 a.m. And Wyoming, they have a ceremony at Veterans Memorial Gardens, and that is at 7 o'clock. So a lot of stuff going on here on Memorial Day. There'll be a lot of picnics and outdoor activities with the nice weather that we have here. Okay, we'll go on to the next one here, the Grand Haven Musical Fountain. Patriotic shows on the 26th and 27th. That should read. The fountain runs nightly through Labor Day. You know, they have a weather show. I don't know if they're still doing it or not, but there was a weather show, and I've seen that show twice. Kind of interesting here. But the lakefront there has been all redone. They have a whole new seating area there as opposed to the bleachers that we had for many, many years. Coast Guard Festival is coming up. That's always the first week of August, and sometimes start in late July. But the big parade is the Saturday there, the first Saturday of August, and it is a fantastic event. So anyhow, patriotic shows, that should probably be the 25th and 26th. The fountain runs nightly through Labor Day and Friday and Saturday during September. I have not seen outside of being there for the fireworks, which I go anyway, even if I'm not doing anything. I was the MC there for Coast Guard Festival for quite a few years. And then now that I'm not doing that, I still go there because the fireworks are awesome. Usually one of the casinos sponsors it, and they really put on a great show. But the musical fountain is awesome. The Bellagio has surpassed it in terms of how big a musical fountain that they have. They have that out in Las Vegas, but that's a long way to go to see a musical fountain. And we've got one right here in West Michigan. So try and plan a time here. It's nightly, and you can see the show there with all the pretty colors during the evening in Grand Haven. All right, what else have we got here? Some trivia. May 25, 1935, this track and field athlete competed for Ohio State at the Big Ten Championships in Ann Arbor, Michigan. At the meet, he set 5 world records and tied another. He went on to win 4 gold medals at the 1936 Olympics. Now I know who it is. That sentence gave it away. His nickname was the Buckeye Bullet, and that was Jesse Owens, I believe. And that was interesting. Yes, Jesse Owens. Then there he was, and that 1936 appearance in the Olympics was absolutely amazing. He was a tremendous athlete and a great human being, and we certainly want to remember him on this date. And he was an Ohio State Buckeye. Okay, on this date in 1888, Charles Hackley gifted the funds to construct the Hackley Public Library, which is still there today, of course. Hackley arrived in Muskegon at the age of 19 and worked in a lumber yard. I always used the joke that I used to go to the lumber yard all the time. Whenever I went there, I got bored. I just a joke. Later, he started his own lumbering firm. He gave approximately $6 million to Muskegon for various civic projects. That's a lot of money. Can you imagine what $6 million was like back in the 1880s? That's really interesting. I am so impressed. I know sometimes people like to rag on people who are rich, but there's a lot of rich people in West Michigan that have given a lot of money back to the communities, and through their foresight have really worked to complete projects that the government failed to do. So we need philanthropists, private philanthropists here, often working with government to make West Michigan a better place. But we certainly salute Charles Hackley and the public library over in Muskegon and the difference that he made to his community. Okay, on this date in history, some other stuff. 1955, tornado outbreak across the Great Plains. This was incredibly bad. 48 tornadoes. Now there were probably more tornadoes than that, because today you've got 20 cars following every dark cloud. There's a lot of tornado chasers out there. We didn't have those back in 1955. But so we think there were more than 48 tornadoes. There were F5s in Udall, Kansas, and in Blackwell, Oklahoma, 2 of them. 102 fatalities with those tornadoes. And birthdays included Ralph Waldo Emerson in 1803, famous poet and writer, Frank Oz in 1944. So that's interesting, both with birthdays here on May the 25th. And on this date, go ahead. We'll go on to the next one here. This state was the 25th to join the Union on June 15th, 1836. It has several nicknames, but the official one currently is the Natural State. Its eastern border is along the Mississippi River. The state name comes from a French interpretation of a Quapaw, a Native American word meaning people downstream. I don't know that I know the answer to this one, but let's see if we can dissect it here a little bit. I think Michigan was the 26th state to join the Union. And we have here, this is 1836. It has several nicknames, but the official one currently is the Natural State. I don't know if I've heard of that before. Its eastern border is along the Mississippi River. So that's going to limit it to Minnesota, Iowa, Missouri, Arkansas, Louisiana. Now, Louisiana and Mississippi are 2 states where the river kind of goes through them rather than on its eastern border. So let's narrow that down to Arkansas, Iowa, and Missouri. The state name comes from a French interpretation of a Quapaw, Native American word meaning people downstream. Wow. Let's see. So we've got Iowa, Missouri, and Arkansas. And it's interesting because Arkansas is Ark in Kansas, and Arkansas is pronounced differently than Kansas, which is interesting. I think I'll guess Missouri. Let's see how close we come with this. Let's see if we can narrow it down. It is Arkansas. So we narrowed it down to the right 3, but Arkansas is the Natural State. I did not hear that before. Of course, Arkansas is the Razorbacks, and the Razorback is a gigantic boar or hog. Little Rock being the capital. The airport, I believe, is in North Little Rock, and state that gets hot and humid during the summertime. But I've seen pictures of Arkansas covered with snow in the wintertime, so it can happen, though in some years they don't get any real snow at all during the wintertime. All right, let's move on. Bill, you've been in all 50 states. What were you doing in Arkansas? Well, let's see. I've been in Arkansas at least several times. And the last time I was in Arkansas, I was watching the eclipse. I went down with a group that Dave DeBryan organized from the planetarium. And we picked the best place and the best time. We were in a little town called Perryville, Arkansas. And the town was absolutely wonderful. You ever go to Perryville, Arkansas, I just tell them Grand Rapids thanks you so much for being so hospitable to us, as we brought down a group of about 70, 75 people with our telescopes to look at the eclipse. And it was great because about an hour after the eclipse, clouds started moving in. So it was timed out beautifully. But that's what we were doing the last time we were in Arkansas. Michelle will probably remember that we took the kids on a spring break trip where we visited state capitals. And this was kind of interesting. We started in Grand Rapids and went down to Springfield, Illinois, toured the state capitol there, went down to Little Rock, Arkansas, where they were selling stuff, pencils and all kinds of stuff with Arkansas on it. Baton Rouge, Louisiana, where we got stuck in the elevator. And in the state capitol in Louisiana is like an office building. It's kind of like McKay Tower. It's not really a big capital like you might think. But then we went across the south and back up to the north. And I think we visited 9 state capitals that trip and talked a little bit about what went on in each state and then some of the strong points of each state. And the weather was beautiful, so we had a great time. In Illinois, there was a janitor that let us in and gave us a tour of the place. Missouri had if you ever go to Jefferson City, Missouri, they have a museum in the basement. And when I was there, it was free. And you got to see the Conestoga wagons and learn about Lewis and Clark. So that was a lot of fun. But last time I was in Arkansas was for the eclipse here a couple of years ago. This is the 25th book of the Bible. It is in the Old Testament in Protestant canonical order. It's after Jeremiah, who was believed to be the author. Lamentations, maybe. The book is a collection of poems. Oh, look at that. Go ahead. Go to the next one here. The book is a collection of poems. Yes, well, that was pretty good. Yes, there are 39 books in the Old Testament, 66 books on average. I know that. And the major prophets basically wrote the books that have their name. But Lamentations is just kind of a continuation, I think chronologically, we go Jeremiah, Ezekiel, and then Daniel when they're in captivity over in Babylon. So interesting. Lamentations is a small book. It's only 5 or 7 chapters. I know Isaiah is like 66 chapters or something like that. And it's a lot of it's kind of the same stuff over and over again. We've been, my wife and I have been trying to read through the Bible in a year, and we're going through the sovereign Lord condemning this people group and that people group and this people group and that people group. And it gets kind of depressing, how lost these people became with time. But there was always the hope that they would be brought back into the fold here with time. Okay, Lamentations, we got that one. All right, let's go on here. Javon Murphy, hey, look at this. This is from, I believe, May the 15th. Javon lives over in the Muskegon area. And look at that gigantic, towering cumulus cloud there. I don't know if it's a towering Q or probably cumulonimbus with the top blowing off the other way. You can see a couple of are those magnolia trees that are in blossom. There are some trees that are still in blossom, and the leaves starting to come out on the trees. But Javon has done a nice job of keeping us posted with some of the things that go on in the Muskegon and Dalton Township areas over there. So thanks for passing along that picture, and really pleasant to see that. That probably was right around sunset with the sun behind the camera looking back toward the east, toward that illuminated cloud. Pretty. Well, that brings us to the end of our journey. I want to hope all of you have a fantastic weekend ahead. Take a moment out and remember this Memorial Day, those who served in the armed forces. I may show a picture of my father on tomorrow's show. I have 2 pictures of him from World War II. One where he is a machine gun instructor. My brother and I, we behaved. When your father's a machine gun instructor, you just don't misbehave very often. And then he went on to become a supply sergeant and toured around the country. My father during the war was from Chicago. He went out to Rockford, Illinois, went down into Missouri, went to North Carolina, Alabama, California. Where else did he go? And then he wound up in Oklahoma for a couple of years. And my father's brother, Felix, wound up in India, the country of India, for 2 years. They were trying to keep the Japanese from invading that area there. And my uncle was a motorcycle mechanic, and a good one. So the Brits needed a motorcycle mechanic, so off Felix went. And he was there for a couple of years. Can you imagine leaving your family for, 2 years without seeing them and not knowing when you were going to get home? So we used to kid Felix. I used to ask him what he learned how to do in the army, and he told him ride an elephant. So, because they had elephants in India. But he thoroughly enjoyed the country of India. I think mostly he enjoyed he didn't have to shovel snow. But he thought the people of India were great. He taught many of them how to play harmonica. So if there's any harmonicaists in India, that may trace all the way back to my Uncle Felix. All right. Once again, have yourself a fantastic weekend, and thanks for sticking around here until the end.